rocket marching to the skies. A coward will remain, sir, until the fighting is done, but an immortal hero will take his hat and run. Goodbye, sir, I am going. My country calleth me. Allow me, sir, at parting, to wipe my weeping ee. In token of our friendship, accept this bonny dune. And when the hand that plucked it hath passed beyond the moon, the memory of my ashes will consolation be. Then farewell, Tuscarora, and farewell, sir, to thee. And number 3. On this wondrous sea, sailing silently, ho, pilot, ho! Knowest thou the shore where no breakers roam when the storm is o'er? In the silent west, many the sails at rest, the anchors fast. Thither I pilot thee, land, ho, eternity, ashore at last. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gerald Shields. We'll start with the 1860 poems, poem 130. Mama never forgets her birds. Throw in another tree. She looks down just as often and just as tenderly. As when her little mortal nest with cunning care she wove, if either of her sparrows fall, she notices above. 131. Though my destiny may be Faustian, hers be damask fine. Though she wear a silver apron, I a less divine. Still, my little Gatsby being I would far prefer. Still, my little sunburnt blossom to her rosier. For when frost her punctual fingers on her forehead lay, you and I and Dr. Holland bloom eternally. Roses of a steadfast summer in a steadfast land where no autumn lifts her pencil and no reapers stand. 132. Just lost when I was saved, just felt the world go by and grit me for the onset with eternity, when breath blew back and on the other side, I heard recede the disappointing tide. Therefore, as one returned, I feel odd secrets of the line to tell. Some sailor skirting foreign shores, some pale reporter from the awful doors, before the seal. Next time to stay, next time the things to see, by ear unheard, unscrutinized by the eye. Next time to tarry while the ages steal, slow tramp the centuries and the cycle wheel. 133. Mute thy coronation, meek my villarole, fold a tiny courtier in thine emerine, sir, there to rest revering, till the pageant by, I can murmur broken, Master, it was I. 134. Did the harebell lose her girdle to the lover bee? Would the bee the harebell hollow, much as formerly? Did the paradise persuaded yield her mote of pearl? Would the Eden be an Eden, or the earl an earl? 135. A little bread, a little crust, a crumb, a little trust, a demijohn, can keep the souls alive, but portly mind, but breathing warm, conscious as a Napoleon. The night before the crown, a modest lot, a fame petite, a brief campaign of sting and sweat, a sweet. is plenty is enough. A sailor's business is the shore. A soldier's balls, who asks more, must seek the neighboring life. 136. Who never lost, are unprepared, or coronet to find, who never thirsted flagons and cooling tamarind, who never climbed the weary league, can such a foot explore? Purple territories on Palazzo's shore. How many legions overcome, the emperor will say? How many colors taken on Revolution Day? How many bullets burst? Hath thou the royal scar? Angel's right promoted on this soldier's brow. 137. A lady red amid the hill her annual secret keeps. A lady white within the field in placid lily sleeps. The tidy breezes with their blue brooms sweep vale and hill and tree. Prith my pretty housewives, who may expected be. The neighbors did not yet suspect. The woods exchange a smile, orchard and buttercups and bird, in such a little while. And yet how still the landscape stands, how nonchalant the hedge, as if the resurrection were nothing very strange. 138. To fight aloud is very brave, but gallanter I know, who charge within the bosom the cavalry of woe, who win and nations do not see, who fall and none observe, whose dying eyes no country regards with patriot love. We trust in plumed procession, such things the angels go, rank after rank, with even feet and uniforms of snow. 139. Houses, so the wise men tell me, mansions. Mansions must be warm. Mansions cannot let the tears in. Mansions must exclude the storm. Many mansions by this father, I do not know him, snugly built. Could the children find the way there, some would even trudge tonight. 140. Bring me the sunset in a cup, reckon the morning's flagons up, and say how many do. Tell me how far the morning leaps. Tell me what time the weaver sleeps. Who spun the breaths of blue? Write me how many notes there be in the new robin's ecstasy among astonished burrows. How many trips the tortoise makes, how many cups the bee partakes, the watch of dews. Also, who laid the rainbow's piers? Also, who leads the domicile spheres? By withers of supple blue, whose fingers string the stalactite? Who counts the wampum of the night to see that none is due? Who built this little Alban house and shut the windows down so close my spirit cannot see? Who'll let me out some gala day with implements to fly away, passing pomposity? 141. She died at play, gambled away her lease of spotted hours, then sank as gaily as a Turk upon a couch of flowers. Her ghost strolled softly over the hill, yesterday and today, her vestments as the silver fleece, her countenance as spray. 142. Cocoon above, cocoon below, stealthy cocoon, why hide you so? what all the world suspect, an hour and gay on every tree. Your secret, perched in ecstasy, defies imprisonment. An hour in chrysalis to pass, then gay above receding grass, a butterfly to go, a moment to interrogate, then wiser than a surrogate, the universe to know. 143, exaltation is going of an inland soul to sea, past the houses, past the headlands, in deep eternity. Bred as we among the mountains, can the sailor understand the divine intoxication of the first league out from land? I never heard the word escape without a quicker blood, a sudden expectation, a flying altitude. I never heard of prisons broad, by soldiers battered down, but I tug childish at my bars, only to fail again. She said, 145. Well, the next person. Okay. 145. A little east of Jordan, evangelists record, a gymnast and an angel did wrestle long and hard, till morning touching mountain, and Jacob waxing strong, the angel begged permission to breakfast to return. So, not so, said cunning Jacob, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me, stranger. The witch acceded too. Light swung the silver fleeces, Peniel hills beyond, and the bewildered gymnast found he had worsted God. 146. All overgrown by cunning moss, all interspiced with weed, the little cage of courier bell in quiet hawthorn laid. This bird, observing others, when frost too sharp became, retired to other latitudes, quietly did the same, but differed in retiring, since Yorkshire hills are green. Yet not in all the nest I meet can nightingale be seen.
(147) A science, so the savants say, comparative anatomy, by which a single home is made a secret to unfold of some rare tenant of the mold, else perished in the stone. So to the eve perspective led that meekest flower of the mead, open a winter's day, stands representative as gold. The angels must have spied, since I could never find her, open the mortal side. This is 155. If pain for peace prepares, lo, what Augustan years our feet await. If springs from winter rise, can the anemones be reckoned up? If night stands first, then noon to gird us for the sun, what gaze? When from 1,000 skies on our developed eyes, noons blaze. 156. Surgeons must be very careful when they take the knife. Underneath their fine incursions stirs the culprit, life. 157. I have a king who does not speak, so wandering through the hours meek I trudge the day away, half glad when it is night, and sleep, if haply through a dream to peep in parlors shut by day. And if I do, when morning comes, it is as if 100 dreams did round my pillow roll, and shouts fill all my childish sky, and bells keep saying victory from steeples to my soul. And if I don't, the little bird within the orchard is not heard, and I omit to pray, Father, thy will be done today, for my will goes the other way, and it were perjury. (158). Where I have lost, I softer tread. I sow sweet flowers from garden bed. I praise above that vanished head and mourn. When I have lost, I pious guard from accent harsh or ruthless word, feeling as if their pillow heard those stone. When I have lost, you'll know by this, a bonnet black, a dark surplice, a little tremor in my voice like this. When I have lost, the people know who dressed in frocks of purest snow went home a century ago. Next bliss. (159). She went as quiet as the dew from an accustomed flower. Not like the dew did she return at the accustomed hour. She dropped as softly as a star from out of my summer's eve, less skillful than La Verrière. It soared to believe. 160. To hang our head ostensibly and subsequent to find that such was not the posture of our mortal mind affords the sly presumption that in so dense a fuzz, you too take cobweb attitudes, open a plain of gauze. 161. The daisy follows soft the sun, and when his golden walk is done, sits shyly at his feet. He, waking, finds the flower there. Wherefore, marauder, art thou here? Because, sir, love is sweet. We are the flower, thou the sun. Forgive us if as days decline we nearer steal to thee. Enamored of the parting west, the peace, the flight, the amethyst, night's possibility. (162). Some rainbow coming from the fair, some vision of the world, Kashmir, I confidently see. Or else a peacock's purple train, feather by feather on the plain, fritters itself away. The dreamy butterfly bestir, lethargic pools resume the whir of last year's sundered tune. From some old forest on the sun, baronial bees march, one by one, in murmuring platoon. The robins stand as thick today as flakes of snow stood yesterday. On fence and road and twig, the orchis binds her feather on. For her old lover, dawn the sun, revisiting the bog. Without commander, countess, still the regiments of wood and hill in bright detachment stand. Behold, whose multitudes are these, the children of whose turbaned seas, or what Circassian land? By a flower? Oh, this is 163. By a flower, by a letter, by a nimble love, if I willed the river faster, final fast above. Never mind my breathless anvil, never mind repose, never mind the sooty faces tugging at the forge. (164) I can tell you, but you feel it, nor can you tell me. Saints, with ravished slate and pencil, solve our April day. Sweeter than a vanished frolic from a vanished green, swifter than the boots of horsemen round a ledge of dream. Modest, let us walk amongst it with our faces veiled, as they say polite, archangels do in meeting God. Not for me to prate about it, not for you to say to some fashionable lady, charming April day. Rather, heaven's Peter Parley, by which children, slow to sublimer recitation, are prepared to go.
Thank you. 165. I'm Anne Harding Woodworth. (165) I have never seen volcanoes, but when travelers tell how those old phlegmatic mountains, usually so still, beat within appalling ordnance, fire and smoke and gun, taking villages for breakfast and appalling men. If the stillness is volcanic in the human face, when upon a pain titanic features keep their place, if at length the smoldering anguish will not overcome, and the palpitating vineyard in the dust be thrown, if some loving antiquary on resumption morn will not cry with joy, Pompeii, to the hills return. 166. Dust is the only secret, death the only one you cannot find all about in his native town. Nobody knew his father, never was a boy, hadn't any playmates or early history. Industrious, laconic, punctual, sedate, bold as a brigand, stiller than a fleet, builds like a bird too. Christ robs the nest, robin after robin smuggled to rest. 167. I'm the little heart's ease. I don't care for pouting skies. If the butterfly delay, can't I therefore stay away? If the coward bumblebee in his chimney corner stay, I must resoluter be. Who'll apologize for me? Dear, old-fashioned little flower, Eden is old-fashioned too. Birds are antiquated fellows. Heaven does not change her blue, nor will I, the little heart's ease, ever be induced to do. 168. Ah, necromancy sweet, ah, wizard erudite, teach me the skill that I instill the pain surgeons assuage in vain, nor herb of all the plain can heal. 169. Wait till the majesty of death invests so mean a brow. Almost a powdered footman might dare to touch it now. Wait till in everlasting robes this democrat is dressed, then prate about preferment, and station, and the rest. Round this quiet courtier obsequious angels wait. Full royal is his retinue, full purple is his state. A lord might dare to lift the hat to such a modest clay, since that my lord, the Lord of lords, receives unblushingly. 'Tis so much joy, 'tis so much joy, this is 170. 'Tis so much joy, 'tis so much joy, if I should fail, what poverty, and yet as poor as I, have ventured all upon a throw, have gained, yes, hesitated so, this side of victory. Life is but life, and death but death. Bliss is but bliss, and breath but breath. And if indeed I fail, at least to know the worst is sweet. Defeat means nothing but defeat. No drearier can befall. And if I gain, O gun at sea, O bells that in the steeples be, at first repeat it slow, for heaven is a different thing, conjectured and waked sudden in the might extinguish me. 171. A fuzzy fellow without feet, yet doth exceeding run, of velvet is his countenance, and his complexion dun. Sometime he dwelleth in the grass, sometime upon a bough, from which he doth descend in plush upon the passer-by. Oh, all this in summer, but when winds alarm the forest folk, he taketh damask residence, and struts in sewing silk. Then, finer than a lady, emerges in the spring, a feather on each shoulder, you'd scarce recognize him. By men yclept caterpillar, by me, but who am I to tell the pretty secret of the butterfly? 172. At last, to be identified. At last, the lamps upon your side, the rest of life to see, past midnight, past the morning star, past sunrise. Ah, what leagues there were between our feet and day. 173. Except to heaven she is naught, except for angels lone, except to some wide wandering bee a flower superfluous blown, except for winds provincial, except for butterflies, unnoticed as a single dew that on the acre lies. The smallest housewife in the grass, yet take her from the lawn, and somebody has lost the face that made existence home. 174. Portraits are to daily faces as an evening west to a fine, pedantic sunshine in a satin vest. 175. I cautious scanned my little life. I winnowed what would fade from what would last till heads like mine should be a dreaming laid. I put the latter in a barn, the former blew away. I went one winter morning, and lo, my priceless hay was not upon the scaffold, was not upon the beam, and from a thriving farmer, a cynic I became. Whether a thief did it, whether it was the wind, whether deities guiltless, my business is to find. So I begin to ransack. How is it hearts with thee? Art thou within the little barn love provided thee? 176. If I could bribe them by a rose, I'd bring them every flower that grows from Amherst to Kashmir. I would not stop for night or storm or frost or death or anyone. My business were so dear. If they would linger for a bird, my tambourine would soonest heard among the April woods. Unwearied all the summer long, only to break in wilder song when winter shook the boughs. What if they hear me? Who shall say that such an importunity may not at last avail? that, weary of this beggar's face, they may not finally say yes to drive her from the hall. 177. As if some little Arctic flower upon the polar ham went wandering down the latitudes until it puzzled, came to continents of summer, to firmaments of sun, to strange bright crowds of flowers and birds of foreign tongue. I say, as if this little flower to Eden wandered in, what then? Why, nothing, only your inference therefrom. 178. To learn the transport by the pain as blind men learn the sun, to die of thirst suspecting that brooks in meadows run, to stay the homesick feet upon a foreign shore, haunted by native lands the while and blue, beloved air. This is the sovereign anguish, this the signal woe. These are the patient laureates whose voices trained below ascend in ceaseless carol, inaudible indeed, to us, the duller scholars of the mysterious bard.
I'm Fred Woodworth. This is 179. If the foolish call them flowers, need the wiser tell? If the savants classify them, it is just as well. Those who read the Revelations must not criticize those who read the same edition with beclouded eyes. Could we stand with the old Moses? Canaan denied, scan like him the stately landscape on the other side? Doubtless we should dream superfluous many sciences, not pursued by learned angels in scholastic skies. Lo, amid that glad letters, grant that we may stand, stars, amid profound galaxies, as that grand right hand. Number 180. In ebon box, when years have flown, to reverently peer, wiping away the velvet dust, summers have sprinkled there. To hold a letter to the light, grown tawny now with time, to con the faded syllables that quickened us like wine. Perhaps a flower's shriveled cheek among its stores to find, plucked far away some morning, its gallant moldering hand. A curl, perhaps from foreheads our constancy forgot, perhaps an antique trinket in vanished fashions set, and then to lay them quiet back and go about its care, as if the little ebon box were none of our affair. 181. A wounded deer leaps highest, I've heard the hunter tell. 'Tis but the ecstasy of death, and thus the brake is still. The smitten rock that gushes, the trampled steel that springs. A cheek is always redder, just where the hectic sings. Mirth is the mail of anguish, in which it cautious arm, lest anybody spy the blood, and "You're hurt," exclaim. 182. The sun kept stooping low. The hills to meet him rose. On his side, what transaction? On their side, what repose? Deeper and deeper grew the stain. Open the window pane. Thicker and thicker stood the feet upon the Tyrian. Was crowded, dense with armies, so gay, so brigadier, that I felt martial stirrings, who once the cockade wore, charged from my chimney corner, but nobody was there. 183. I met a king this afternoon. He had not on a crown indeed. A little palm leaf hat was all, and he was barefoot, I'm afraid. But sure I am he ermine wore beneath his faded jacket's blue, and sure I am the crest he bore within that jacket's pocket too. For 'twas too stately for an earl, a marquis would not so grand. 'Twas possibly a czar petite, a pope, or something of that kind. If I must tell you of a horse, my freckled monarch held the rein, doubtless an estimable beast, but not at all disposed to run. And such a wagon, while I live, dare I promise to see another such a vehicle as then transported me. 2 other ragged princes his royal state partook, doubtless the first excursion these sovereigns ever took. I question if the royal coach, round which the footmen wait, has the significance on high of this barefoot estate.
The next reader will be Jennifer Atkinson.
$186. I think that's where we were. The juggler's hat her country is, the mountain gorse, the bees. 187. Through the straight paths of suffering, the martyrs even trod, their feet upon temptation, their faces upon God. A stately, shriven company, convulsion playing round, harmless as streaks of meteor upon a planet's bond. Their faith, the everlasting troth, their expectation fair. The needle to the north degree weighed so through polar air. 188. Could I then shut the door, lest my beseeching face at last rejected be of her? 189. Is it true, dear Sue? Are there 2? I shouldn't like to come for fear of joggling him. If you could shut him up in a coffee cup, or tie him to a pin till I got in, or make him fast to Toby's fist, hist, whist, I'd come. 190. No rose, yet felt myself a bloom. No bird, yet rode in ether. 191. Morning means milking to the farmer. Dawn to the Tenerife. Dice to the maid. Morning means just risk to the lover, just revelation to the beloved. Epicures date a breakfast by it, brides an apocalypse, worlds a flood, faint-going lives, their lapse from sighing, faith, the experiment of our Lord. 192. 'Tis anguish grander than delight, 'tis resurrection pain, the meeting bands of smitten face we questioned to again. 'Tis transport wild as thrills the graves when cerements let go, and creatures glad in miracle go up by 2 and 2. 193. Speech is a prank of Parliament, tears a trick of the nerve, but the heart with the heaviest freight on doesn't always move. 194. Title divine is mine, the wife without the sign. Acute degree conferred on me, Empress of Calvary, royal all but the crown, betrothed without the swoon. God gives us women when you hold garnet to garnet, gold to gold, born, bridled, shrouded in a day. Try victory. My husband, women say, stroking the melody is the way.
Karen Alanier. 194. Title divine is mine, the wife without the sign. Acute degree conferred on me, Empress of Calvary. Royal, all but crowned, betrothed without the swoon. God gives us women when you hold garnet to garnet, gold to gold, born, bridled, shrouded in a day. 'Tis victory, try victory. My husband, women say, stroking the melody is this way. 195. Victory comes late and is held low to freezing lips, too wrapped with frost to take it. How sweet it would have tasted, just a drop. Was God so economical? His tables spread too high for us, unless we dine on tiptoe. Crumbs fit with such little mouths. Cherries suit robins. The eagle's golden breakfast strangles them. God kept his oath to sparrows, who of little love know how to starve. 196. I'll send the feather from my hat. Who knows? But at the sight of that, my sovereign will relent. As trinket worn by faded child, confronting eyes long comforted, blisters the adamant. 197. Jesus, thy crucifix enable thee to guess the smallest size. Jesus, thy second face, mine there in paradise of ours. 198. Baby, teach him what he makes the names, such an one to say on his babblings, berry lips, as should sound to me were my eat, as near his nest as though my thought today as should sound. Forbid us not, some like Emily. 199. Though I get home, how late, so I get home, 'twill compensate. Better will be the ecstasy that they have done expecting me. When night descending, dumb and dark, they hear my unexpected knock. Transporting must the moment be, brewed from decades of agony. To think just how the fire will burn, just how long cheated eyes will turn, to wonder what myself will say, and what itself will say to me beguiles the centuries of way. $200. The rose did caper on her cheek, her bodice rose and fell, her pretty speech like drunken men did stagger pitiful. Her fingers fumble at her work, her needle would not go.